Download me. Yo. All right. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Truth Talk podcast. Joe Jarvis right here, co-host Mr. Alex Zach. Alex, tell me, enlighten the audience. What are we talking about today?
I think today we're just gonna talk about some things that we've been doing in the past weeks, just maintaining our business and like what are some things that we're working on currently.
Yeah,
I guess
for
I'll
sure.
ask you first, like what are some things that you're doing, or you've done in the past week? Let's just say the past week, just to maintain your business or grow it.
Yeah, just kind of wrapping up some projects for clients, just kind of going through the revision process. Nothing too glamorous there. It's kind of just, get on the phone with them, get them to say what they want. I guess something there that might be kind of useful for people is like if you're in a business where it's sort of like project based, it's a big project that you do. So it's not like that with say like maybe media buying. If you're doing Facebook ads, it's pretty obvious. Like you hit these buttons and the leads start coming in. That's kind of the metric that you're judging there. But if it's a big project, like for example, I write like sales letters, it's like a 20-page document, right? So I would recommend that people, if it's a big project, you do much more frequent check-ins with the client. And basically like just send them the outline of what you're gonna do and be like, hey, do you like this? Do you not like it? It's gonna save you some headaches down the line because I kind of got myself into the situation where I took the project down like this angle that I thought I
Mhm.
wanted it to be, and then the client wanted it down this slightly different angle. Nothing too crazy dissimilar, but it is just like one of those things where you have to go back and kind of
Because especially
change
if
some
they're
things.
if they're paying a lot of money for like a
Yeah.
project, right? They're like putting an investment into. You want to make sure that it's to their needs, right? So.
Yeah. And of
Because I
course,
mean,
like,
that's with everything, right? But it's a
yeah,
little bit different for Facebook ads because like they might not know exactly what they want, right? You probably, as
yeah,
the expert, you're like providing the service to them, right? So you should really know like what you're doing, what you need to do for like something like Facebook ads, right? But like for a project like that, like a sales letter or whatever it may be, right? You kind of have to cater to what they need.
yeah,
Um,
because it's based on their brand, right? Like they're gonna be putting out to their audience, their brand, like their personal brand is attached to it. So obviously, like you kind of do have to give them that what do you call it there? Kind of like that leeway,
yeah.
just because
Mhm.
their face is gonna be on it. So they deserve to have like a decent
and
amount of
and they
input
know,
about what
or
it
at
is.
least they. I'm actually, I don't know. I was gonna say like they might know exactly what they need, but at the same time, like I don't think they do. So depends on the
Well,
person.
they have a specific situation. So with this guy, I kind of found out that he was going to be using it in a slightly different way than I was kind of thinking that he would use it. Usually, if it's like a sales letter type of thing, it's like you have your audience, or maybe you're running ads. He's not running ads, so I was just assuming his audience. And it basically just like takes them from like, reading the headline all the way to purchasing. Whereas this guy, he wanted more like much more straightforward, kind of like, here's the program, here are the benefits of it, kind of like short and sweet. And I was trying to
Mhm.
go like really hard, like on the kind of just like marketing angle of like, you know what I mean? Just like going really hard
Yeah,
through the entire thing. Whereas he just wanted like a
like
pretty
quick.
short thing,
That
just being
just
like,
states
this
what
is
he
what it is,
wants.
this is what it does, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Tying some benefits. So that was the main thing, doing that. Got into crypto, nothing too crazy again. Just put in like a few $100.
It's
Um,
not
I
sound like.
what's up?
I was gonna say I don't know how much you know about crypto to be putting into it.
Well, that's the thing, bro, is like I don't know anything, and I was like, I can either sit around like a little nerd, reading a bunch of books and watching YouTube videos on it, or I can just dump like a few $100 into it, and I'll just figure it
And
out.
then lose all of it.
Yeah, but it's like that's if I put $200 in and I lose $200, you just learned a $200 lesson. There you go.
Hmm.
You paid $200 to learn that lesson.
Lessons with Joe
And
Jarvis.
what do people pay to go to college? They pay 200K to go listen to some professor tell them about, I don't know,
I mean, it's not
rocks.
really to pay the professor. The reason you go to college is it's like a safety net, because you have a degree. There's only certain degrees that I feel like, unless you're, I mean, it's true though, because like everyone says, everyone says like,
Look at this
oh,
guy. Look at this guy.
no, it's true because all these gurus and everything, they're all gonna tell you like, oh, don't go to college, don't spend $200,000 on this. But if you're going to like a college that's like prestigious, like you instantly get connections, you get a network of people, right? That go to the school, right? Second thing, you get okay, obviously like you're still gonna learn something, right? Obviously, there's probably other ways to learn it, but like
Bro, what
so
are you, a
you're gonna learn
narc?
it. And then third, you're able to what was I gonna say? I lost my train of thought. Um I completely lost my train of
I'm
thought.
not saving you here, bro. I don't know what you were gonna say.
No, I
You're
think
saying
it's
go to
you're
college.
getting a that's what it is. The recognition of going to that college, right? You're the name. You're literally just using the college's name. And the college literally does nothing, right? It's just getting into that school is the importance of it. Like that's what I think. The recognition of getting into the school. It's not what you do at the school. It's like the ability to get into the school that
Yeah,
makes it
actually, I want to
valuable.
talk about that. I want to talk about that. That's super interesting when it comes to education business models. Hormozy made a video about this, so I'm just gonna steal everything he said in that video. Full disclaimer. But he said something very similar to that. It's like these colleges don't really do anything. Of course they have like research departments and they have different stuff,
I mean,
but
you'll learn something, but it's not like something you
yeah.
can't learn somewhere else.
But
I feel
here's
like.
my point is that what you said about the recognition, that's what it is. Like that's the entire business model.
Mhm.
Um, because you can learn everything on YouTube, assuming that it's not like engineering, some sort of like STEM field,
No,
something like
that's another
that.
thing that I was gonna say. If it's a specialized degree, like you know what you want to do, you want to be
You want to
uh
be a lawyer, like you have to go to
marine
law school.
biologist, right? Like you have to
Yeah.
go to that to learn about that, right? Or whatever it may be, right? If it's really specific and you know what you want to do, then yeah, go there and get the degree. But if you don't really know, then I don't think college is the best place. I mean, it's not bad. You're still gonna get the recognition. You're still gonna get, but depends. Like if you're gonna get a degree that's like if you're getting
Don't
gender
get like some
studies, then
trash
like
degree, bro.
yeah,
Like
don't
I
get like an
talked to this person
English
the other
degree.
day
Like
who had like a master's degree in like piano. Piano, bro. Like, and I'm like,
piano.
yeah, dog, that's like a $300,000 degree.
And you're not
And
really like
who's gonna hire you? Who's gonna pay you $100,000 a year to play the piano?
no, but like I've also seen like a lot of people like they don't like going to college for business because it's kind of like a uh like I know this argument where like oh the professor's never made any money so why would I listen to him and it's like at the same time
Professors are brokey.
they're not well I mean that you're not really there to you're there because to say that you graduated from that university if it's a prestigious university.
Okay. That's what I was gonna say, is that basically these colleges don't take like they don't take somebody with okay grades and then get them to get really, really good grades. These top colleges, they take people that had 5.0s in high school and then maintain a 5.0 in college. Like anybody that gets into MIT or
I don't even think
Harvard
that's true. I
or
think
Yale,
most of these top schools, you get into them, right? And you had your 5.0, you did all the hard work in high school. All you have to do in the college is just pass. Like most of them, first 2 years are pass or fail. It's that easy. It's super easy. Once you get into the school, it's just you're cruising, I feel like. Well, obviously it
that's
depends on the
I'm saying
school, right?
my point is that they just maintain where you're at. So
Mhm.
so the entire point is that it doesn't make you any you don't really learn anything new. They just kind of give you the recognition
Platform,
of
the
yes, you
resources.
got into the school. You get the brand name of you get to put Harvard on, your credentials. That's what it is.
Yeah, and I know people that like, well, I don't know, like personally, but I've heard of people like going straight out of college with a business degree and getting a consulting job, like something like that. Like that's crazy. Like to think about that, someone consulting you about your business and they don't even like they don't have any experience in it. They just have a degree. You know what I mean? Like
Bro,
that's
those
insane.
consulting businesses are so funny. You actually have to respect it. Like these like McKinsey and what is it? McKinsey and Co.
I don't know.
Um that firm, I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. McKinsey and something. I'm pretty sure it's McKinsey and Co. That firm is hilarious because they have like all of these major governments and businesses like all under one, you know what I mean, business. So you
Mhm.
pay them like 50 mil a year of consulting fees, and then they'll just help you get like your drug through like the FDA approval committee. Because it's like, oh, who would have known? The government's also, working with the same consulting firm that the drug companies are. Who would have thought? Who would have
Yeah,
thought?
bro, I don't know much about that, so we're gonna move on. Um, so going back to like what we've done in the past week, you said you were working on projects. I guess I'll touch on like some that I've been working on. So this past week, I'm actually managing a podcast project for my agency, and I've been just on the phone like all week, just calling people like constantly. Like I got people on text messages I gotta like constantly like, keep up with,
What are you
and
calling people for?
to get them on the podcast. I've got in the past week we had 3 people over. Let me actually pull it up. I've had 3 people over 10K on the podcast. We had one. I scheduled 2 people with 80,000 followers. So like I've just been like dialing these people, like talking to them. I was on the phone with a dude for like 20 minutes, just talking to him about like what the podcast is gonna be about and stuff, and like getting him ready for it and everything.
Where are
And
you getting the phone numbers?
it's I'm contacting realtors because it's a realtor podcast, right?
So
And
it's on
so
a website.
I'll go on like Instagram, right? I'll find people, and we have like a team of setters, right? They'll DM like just tons of people, right? And then if they get a lead, right, they'll send it over to me, and then I'll call them. I'll set up like all the process from like going from like A to B, like taking them from like, oh, they have no idea what the podcast is to this. And somehow I've been convincing, not really somehow, but like basically the trade-off is we provide them with content, right? Like we'll edit up the podcast, we'll chop it up, we'll get like 5 to 7 edited clips,
Mm,
and
that's a
then
good angle.
and then we'll and then sorry, they'll do a joint post with us on Instagram. So
That's
like
smart.
you know, like so like basically like we're just getting free traffic, and the idea is to access their networks, right? In exchange for us putting in the content out for them. So
Yeah.
it's a pretty good trade-off, and it's not really money involved. So it's good. I've been contacting people. Hopefully I'll get on the podcast. I just haven't been like feeling that great to be on a podcast yet. But hopefully like now it's been kind of quiet. Like I would say the past couple days it's been kind of quiet just because the holidays and everything is about to come up. So but I have
Dude,
like a couple
yeah,
scheduled for the new year. So yeah.
yeah. Dude, I kind of wish that everybody would just like work through the holidays.
Bro.
Like,
Dude,
bro,
it's like
take,
the one time a year you get to spend with your family.
bro, who cares? That's what it's
What?
for, bro. What it's for. It's because you have this brokey mindset of spending time
Oh,
with your
yeah,
family.
spending time with my family is just so bad.
Yeah, that's a brokey mindset because it's like I've been wanting to like you know what I mean, like email people, call people, but it's like, bro, nobody responds over the holidays. Like
It's a
everybody's
good
just
time to
like
put out content.
spending time with my family. Yeah.
It's true. They are spending time. They should be spending time with their family. It's a
So,
good time to.
anyways,
But then the new year is gonna come around and you're gonna have a bunch of people back in the gym that are not supposed to be in the gym. I just thought of that. Just think about all those people like in the gym that are just not like
what
just
do you mean by that? You mean like fat people?
no, like all the people that make New Year's resolutions are like, this year, it's my year. And
I think
then
New Year's resolutions. I think New Year's resolutions are kind of gay, to be honest with you.
what?
Like, no, okay, look, I'm like kind of joking, but I'm also not like. I think like if you have to like write down your goals like every single day and like stare at them in order to like get yourself to make progress towards something, I think you're honestly probably doing the wrong thing. Like anything that I've ever made progress towards, I've never like actually consciously like wrote down the goal to do it. It's like I just want to do it. Like I'm just to a certain degree, like I'm just obsessed with
But
accomplishing it.
some people need like the added motivation of a new year, of like a new restart to like help them. But then the problem with that is like it's motivation, it's not discipline.
But
So it's not gonna
they're never gonna
exactly
do
it's
anything.
not. But for some people that helps. Like some people they like the New
Oh,
Year's
yeah, bro. Look, if
resolutions.
it helps you, then yeah, awesome. But I do think that
It's not for you.
it's not it ain't for me, bro. Yes, you're talking about calling people. I
Mhm.
was thinking about this, bro. Those databases tools, like you know what I'm talking about, where
Like
like
Apollo and
yeah, bro, those tools are scary. Like I found this one guy, and the person I'm working with now, you know, had a checking call with him. Basically, at the end of the call, I was like, "Yo, you know anybody else that could use something similar to this?" Asking for a referral. And he was like, "Yeah, I know this one guy." Gave me a name. That was it. So I had this guy's name.
Mhm.
So I Googled it, you know what I mean? Found his Twitter account. I had known him before, just like seeing his stuff on Twitter.
Yeah.
So I took his name, Googled it again, found him on LinkedIn, was able to somehow extract a mobile number, put the mobile number into like a reverse phone number lookup tool, and I found this dude's like full name, home address, email address, all this stuff. Like it's kind of crazy, all the stuff that you can find, like just on the internet.
Yeah. I mean, it's insane, like the amount of stuff that people, and I'm sure if you look up like our names or whatever, like all our information's out there, someone has it.
Yeah.
It's kind
Bro,
of scary, but at the same time, like
yeah. Bro,
uh,
keep on talking. Keep on talking. My MacBook's about to die. Give me like 30 seconds to plug it in.
okay. So another thing that we'll talk about, I guess, like keeping going with the other topic of long form projects and the New Year's resolution. I kind of want to bring them together. When we talk about like long term projects, you kind of want to like dial in on like the little things that you think are special to the project, right? So wait, is Joe back? Let's see, Joe, can you hear me?
Yes.
I was kind of rambling on about how I wanted to tie in like doing like long form projects like you were saying earlier in the podcast and kind of like how like some people need that like added motivation
Yep.
to do things, right? And like with a I I find it like really interesting because I was saying like you kind of have to like dial in on like the little things of a project to make it like stand out and be different, right? Um
Yeah.
but I was talking about I had this thought like thinking that wait, hold on. Let me like find a way to phrase this in the best way possible. I don't need like an added motivation to do anything because I feel like it's mostly discipline, especially for long projects. It's not like a it's not like I need to like sit down and work on this. I'm kind of like excited because there's like an end goal to it, at least with like a project like that, right? But when it comes to like other things, like when it's just like um I don't really have like a clear like end line, it's harder to like wrap my head around it. I don't know if that's the same for you.
Yeah, that's a great point. And I found the exact same thing. I made a YouTube video about this the other day, and it was like uncut. It was raw. Like it was like 10 p.m. at night. And I just had to record it. Um, and it was basically about like me like studying for my physics final. So did it,
Physics.
bro. So it was like the Sunday, must have been the 10th of December. And I
Yeah.
remember I was like sitting in my room, just like messing around, like doing nothing pretty much. You know what I mean? Like it was kind of late at night. I was like wrapping up my day and I was like, oh yeah, like I got those finals coming up. And like, bro, this entire semester, like we're not gonna go into details, but bro, I was breezing through this stuff. Like just did not care
Yeah.
at all. Bro, was just mowing through this stuff. Um, and I kind of realized like my grade in the class. I was like looking at it, I was like, oh, I'm good, right? I'm good, right? So I looked up my grade in the class and I was like,
Yeah.
and then I was looking at the syllabus and I was like, all right, bro, like the final can't be that much of my grade. And I was like, oh boy,
And what'd you get on it?
we're getting there, bro. So, anyways, I realized like how screwed I was. Like I was literally gonna fail the class if I didn't pass this final. Um, And I was looking at it and I was like, bro, I know zero physics, like literally zero physics. So I was looking at it, I was like, bro, I have to do this. So I was like, all right, bro, I got 3 days. I got 3 days to figure out how to learn physics like before this test.
Yeah, you
Um,
didn't do it. Yeah, bro, there's no way.
but anyways,
Physics is
I like woke up the next day and I just like chugged like an entire like case of Red Bulls and I went through all of the old te anyways, did the whole thing. And anyways, ended up getting like a 91 on the final.
okay.
4 days later, passed the class, and we're good. We're good. The point of me saying all that is that like the entire semester coming up to that was like I didn't care. Like, bro, we all know physics, it's a trash subject. You're never gonna use it. We all know
Unless
this.
you're gonna do and go into physics.
Of course. Like
Yeah.
of course, whenever I say this, there has to be the nuance of like, well, what if you want to be
Ow.
a theoretical physicist launching rockets
Rocket
to
launch.
Mars? And it's like, yeah, obviously, if you're trying to, build a spaceship, you should know physics. But anyways, But once I had that clear cut goal of like not even so much goal, but it was like the perceived pain of failing a class. So I was like, bro, I'm literally not gonna pass this class if I don't do well on this test. Um, the pain of that was like so great that like doing whatever it took to reach that goal was like sort of inconsequential. You know what I mean? Like I
Mhm.
literally studied for like 10 hours a day for those 3 days leading up to it. Um, I was thinking about that because you said like having the clear cut end goal. I think that's
Mhm.
super important. And I think you also have to have so much invested in that end goal that it's painful to not reach it. Like people kind of shy away from talking about that, about like pain being a motivator, because it's kind of like touchy subject of like using like pain as motivation, right? But I think that that's super valuable if you can harness it in like the right way and not just completely self-implode and, basically use pain in the less productive ways.
Yeah, I I agree with what you're saying. I just got a message from a realtor that I do not know. I don't even think I've messaged this guy, and he asked me how's it going. So we'll see where
It's a
that
spam
goes.
message, bro. He's gonna ask you for your
No,
Venmo.
I looked him up. He's legit. He had I don't know
Mm,
how many followers he had, but yeah, I don't really know. Going back to like the clear cut goal and everything. I think a lot of times a clear cut goal is really good. Especially like a clear cut goal, like having something like tangible. But a lot of times you're probably not gonna have that like tangible goal, and that's like it's more like a faith thing than
yeah,
and that's like important to have. Like like maybe like scaling your agency, right? Like just focusing on an agency, right? Um, Scaling your agency, right? There's not really like sure you want to hit 10K a month, but there's like a lot of things that go into that, and it's like, is it really like clear cut? Not really, right? There's a lot of stuff you have to do, but you kind of have to have like that faith that like you
yeah,
believe in yourself, you believe in your in what you're doing, and it's just
yeah,
consistency. So yeah.
yeah. I think that there's a lot of people that are basically like chasing goals and chasing things that they don't even want to achieve and they don't even want to have. Because we were talking about the clear-cut goal, we were sort of talking about discipline, and I think like most people, I think that having a lack of discipline and being disciplined with the wrong things are equally bad. Because it's like if you had zero discipline, you would probably, be probably overweight. Your health wouldn't be that good. Probably wouldn't have that great of a business because like you just sit around all day doing nothing. But the kind of inverse of that, or not inverse, but a different way, basically being disciplined in the wrong areas is like you take what, your teachers want you to do or um, whoever,
Mhm.
and you take all that and then you be like super, super disciplined in that area, but it's not something that you want to do, right? It's just something that, oh, I saw this person on the internet tell me that e-com is the best business model. E-com's the best business model. So without any consideration of like what you want to do, maybe you don't even like e-com, bro. Like there's so many ways to do, make money
Online
online.
business.
Why would you choose something that you have like literally zero interest in whatsoever? Like, bro, I understand like you're always gonna have to do things you don't want to do, but if it's an entire business model that you don't even want to do, like why do it? Like there's plenty of different options. So if you take that all the way and it's like,
That's not the worst thing though. Could be a
well,
lot
you can
worse.
extrapolate it out. Like I know a guy who like of course it's the stereotype of like uh Asian parents. The guy's Asian and his parents
Hmm.
wanted to become a doctor. And the guy spent like literally like his entire like teens and 20 like early 20s to do this. And it's like he doesn't even want to do that. So now it's like you're hundreds of $1,000s in debt. You're in a career that you have zero interest in. And it's
But I don't think it has to do with discipline.
no, but I think
Because
I think but okay, but objectively to get that far, it requires a lot of discipline. You have to study for the test,
obviously, but I don't
good
think that's
college,
bad.
blah blah blah. Yeah, but it's not even something that you want to do. So it's like being disciplined in the wrong areas is
But it's
very
not the
similar.
discipline that's the problem. It's just choosing the wrong thing to go into. Because
My
the
point,
discipline is great. Like you're obviously going to be a great doctor if you put in all the time, but you're not, you don't want to do that. So it's just you're choosing the wrong thing. Like
I'm
you're
just saying, like life quality. This is my point. Your quality of life, if you basically pursue something that you don't even want to do in the first place,
Mhm.
versus not even having any discipline, you kind of end up in a similar spot. That's my point.
Or this is another thing that I struggle with a lot, right? And maybe this isn't like on the same, it's kind of like branching off of what you're saying, but not really. It's kind of talking about how you kind of have to dial in on one thing, whether that's like your e-commerce or what. I mean, the e-commerce is just what you brought up earlier, so I'll just keep going with that. Like, or if you want to be a doctor, right, like you have to dial in on just doing that, right? I like really struggle with that, and I know there's a lot of people out there that struggle with that like maybe it's not shiny object syndrome, like what I mean, like what shiny object syndrome is, like where
Yeah.
you're like always attracted to see something new or something like that might be better, right? Like it's partially that, but it's kind of like I have like the sense that I want to do everything, like I don't want to miss out on it, something that could be big. But at the same
Yeah.
time, like if I were to just dial in on doing what I'm doing now, in a year I'll be like a lot better, right? Not maybe not even a year, maybe a month, like whatever it is, right? If you just like lock into one thing, and I struggle with that like mentally, because I want to do so many things. Like I want to work with AI, I want to do this, I want to do I want to start my affiliate marketing, I want to do whatever it may be, right? Like there's way too many things, and you can see that in businesses too, right? Like if you go to someone's business, right, and you click on their Instagram and then you go to their link tree and they have 18 different things, and one of them is their Amazon affiliate marketing thing, like you can tell they're like scattered, like they don't have a purpose, right? Like there's no
Yeah.
end goal. But if you have someone, you click on their link tree and it takes them, like they have three options. It's like buy with me, sell with me, as I'm saying, like as a realtor, obviously buy with me, sell with me, and chat with me or something like that, right? Like you obviously know this guy's locked in, like this guy's dialed into one thing, and that's something that I really struggle with. So I don't know if that's something else that other people struggle with, but for me personally, it's very difficult to like lock into one thing because I want to be involved in so many things. Like I want to cold call, I want to video edit, I want to do it all. But
Yeah. Yeah, I feel that. Um, yeah, it's something with me. Like I read a lot of like biographies and sort of like life documentaries of like successful people, people that have either, made a lot of money or they've achieved excellence in a sport or something like that.
mhm.
And on a high level overview, their lives actually do look pretty scattered oftentimes. Um, because anybody that's made $1 billion has done so. Like it's not a very linear path.
But to start on that path
I'm
to get
getting
a million
there. I'm getting
dollars,
there. Yeah, yeah. It
okay.
it doesn't look very linear. When you look at it in retrospect, it's like, oh, he bumped into this guy who he met. And then, bro, perfect example is Mike Tyson, right? Mike
Mhm.
Tyson, do you know the story of how he met his boxing coach and how he got into
No
boxing?
idea. No.
Okay, so he lived in Brownsville, New York, I believe. Um, kind of trash town, super high crime rates, all that stuff. And he landed himself in like a youth detention center when he was like 13 or something like that.
Mhm.
Um, so he was in this youth detention facility, and like if the kids were like good or something, you know what I mean, like good behavior, they could go out like once a week, and basically do like some boxing with the, I don't know what I mean, supervisor, something like that.
Yeah.
It was like boxing basically. And one of these days, Mike Tyson was like, "Hey, I'm gonna behave this week, and I'm gonna go to this boxing thing." And he went there, and the instructor was like, "This kid's good. Like he's got potential." So, anyways, in a roundabout way, he comes into contact with this guy named Customato, who that was his boxing coach.
Mhm.
And Customato basically decides like, I'm gonna make this kid into the heavyweight champion of the world. Like he decides on the spot. Super interesting stuff there when it comes to like self-image psychology and like self-image, all that sort of thing.
Mhm.
And basically he gets out of this youth detention facility and basically goes to live with Customato. He gets his parents, like his mom, to basically sign like a piece of paper saying like, yes, I give legal custody of my child to this old Italian man that lives, over here. And he went and lived with him and basically trained for like 12 hours a day and became heavyweight champion of the world. But you see how that's like a super, super random path there. It's like he met this one guy, introduced him here and then there. Um, it's a very scattered path. I guess that's kind of off topic just a little bit, but it is my point is that like when you look at these stories retrospectively, they do look very scattered. Um, but in the moment, it's like they're just obsessed with that next step and
Well,
then
I
that
mean,
next.
okay, look at someone like um I don't know who's a good example of this, like who
What are you
Andrew
trying to think
Tate.
of?
Andrew Tate. Like think about it like this, right? Like the guy, like boxer, right? He wanted to be a kickboxer or whatever, right? Works on that, gets to that point, and then he kind of like gets to a point where he's the world champ, right? He gets to the highest point, he achieves it. He's worked on that one thing, right? But then once he gets to that point, he starts going into other businesses and are doing his casinos or whatever else he made money off. I don't really know much about that, but like just
You don't really
working,
know.
like I don't really know like his casinos and what Hustlers University is what the main thing he makes money off of, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like you know what I mean, like but what the like the first thing that he did was like super linear, like just boxing,
Yeah.
kickboxing, and then boom, he gets to that point, and then you can do whatever. Like I feel like it's the same thing. Like look at like Elon Musk. Well, how did he make his money, right?
Yeah,
Obviously,
Elon
you
Musk is a great example.
but he's a little bit more scattered, right? Because I know that like in college and stuff, like he would like he was just trying everything. Like he would do like parties and like I know Elon Musk would host parties in college, and he made like bank off of just like doing every weekend. He would do it like host a party and charge people to get in,
Yeah.
and he made like $500 like every weekend. I know he himself like I read that
It
in
was like 5 grand. I read his book. It was a
five
lot. Yeah.
grand. Yeah, it was a lot of money that he was making. But the idea is like he had locked into PayPal, right? Well, what we know now is PayPal, right? That was the main
Actually,
thing.
that wasn't the first thing. The first thing was Zip 2. It
Well,
was like some
Zip2 turned into PayPal, right? Or that was
mm,
that the Google Maps one, like the
I
Maps
think it
tracking
was like
system.
Google. Yeah, it was
And
essentially a
then
maps tracking system. He exited that company.
yeah, he exited
Um,
and then started PayPal, which is a payment processing system that we or like not obviously not PayPal then, it's something else, but
yeah, it was like X.com then, and then they merged with PayPal.
and then PayPal, obviously they sold PayPal, and now he's doing what SpaceX, Tesla, the solar stuff, right? He's
Yeah.
doing all this crazy stuff, right? Like so many different things, right? But the idea is that to get to that point, you need the linear path, right?
Yeah. I was gonna say something else there. Linear path. Yeah, so I think another great example is like Michael Jordan, because that's a guy who invariably, like you can say with conviction that that guy was 100% obsessed with the
With the
one thing in
sport.
his life, which was the sport that he was playing, which was basketball, right? And after all that obsession with that one thing, look how now he has everything. The dude's worth like $2 billion.
And it's
He
like
can
shoe
afford
deals,
Yes, shoe deals.
advertising,
He can
whatever it may
afford
be.
any supercar he wants. Basically, all of these auxiliary things that like you would want that are kind of quote unquote like shiny objects, after focusing on the one thing for all those years,
He was
now
able to.
any shiny objects he wants, he can just buy it without even thinking about it. Any business venture he would want to go into, anything he could ever want to do, he can do now because he's built that foundation with the one thing.
I agree. Um, Is there anything else, any other points that we want to make um when it comes to this podcast, or do you? I think we should probably start wrapping up. I don't know how long we've gone for, but yeah. Anything else you want to add?
Hmm. What are you getting for Christmas? What's on your Christmas list?
I want a setup. I want a new webcam, and I'm gonna get a setup for my podcast. I'm gonna do like LED lights, and I'm gonna make sure that like you guys don't have to see this background and the passing cars and all this stuff. So
I said the passing cars added good ambiance.
it does add a good ambiance, but now I
Say it
need an actual
again.
setup. Huh?
Ambiance. Is that how you say it?
Yeah,
Ambiance.
ambiance. I think yeah. Yeah, ambiance. Let's see what
I say like ambience.
like ambience. I don't know. I call it ambiance. I don't know if that's the right pronunciation or not, but we're moving on. Yeah. Um what are you getting? Is there anything you want?
I already got it, but it's this thing called Remarkable. You should look
Mhm.
it up. It's pretty sweet. It's like an iPad, but it's not Apple. Sort of like a Kindle. You can write on it. It's transcribes it, import PDFs, some nifty stuff. It's pretty cool.
Okay.
Yep. That's all I
All
gotta
right.
say.
All right.
Anything
So
else?
no, I don't have anything else. Merry Christmas, everyone.
Happy
And yeah,
holidays.
no, Merry Christmas.
Yeah, you know what? You're right. Screw happy holidays. Have a
Merry
Merry
Christmas.
Christmas.
All right. Thank you for watching and please subscribe to the channel.
Why you
All
always
right.
say please?
Because you got to be
You gotta
polite.
tell
It's
the
you have to be in
viewers.
the Christmas spirit. If you're not in the Christmas spirit, then what are you doing?
All right, everybody that's watching this, if you've watched 38 minutes so far, please subscribe to this show right now.
See, look at how kind that sounded. All right. Thank you and bye bye, everyone.